Kim Jong-un is not dead. Probably not dead. Hi there, welcome back to Plain English. This is lesson 258. I'm Jeff. JR is the producer. And you can find this full lesson online at plainenglish.com/258. Coming up today, North Korea's authoritarian leader Kim Jong-un appeared at a fertilizer factory. This came after a 3-week absence during which the world speculated that he was either in great health, in a vegetative state, or dead. The phrasal verb is to pour over. The video lesson is about how to describe the passage of time when very little is happening. So check that one out at plainenglish.com/258. North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un appeared at a public ceremony at a fertilizer factory in Suncheon. The country's state media released photos of Kim cutting a ribbon and clapping his hands at the event. The workers of the factory burst into thunderous cheers for their leader, the state media said. A fertilizer factory can be used to produce fertilizer, which aids in agriculture, or it can be used in the extraction of uranium, a key ingredient in a nuclear bomb. As such, the event conveniently served the dual objectives of domestic propaganda and international provocation. In other words, a typical day in the life of the world's most mysterious dictator. Except that this day came after weeks of speculation that he was dead. The rumors started when Kim was mysteriously absent for a prominent holiday, the Day of the Sun, on April 15th. The national holiday that marks the birthday of Kim's grandfather, Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea, is that day. It is the country's most important holiday, and it is an opportunity to reinforce the Kim family's military and psychological power over the population. This year was the 108th birthday of Kim Il-sung, and it was the first time in the younger Kim's tenure that he missed the occasion. The speculation started almost immediately and grew over time. Days went by with no news from the country's so-called supreme leader. He may simply have been avoiding crowds that day due to COVID-19, one story said. It has a certain logic. The country couldn't acknowledge the fact because its official position is that there is no COVID-19 in North Korea. Another story said Kim had contracted COVID-19 and that he was recovering or in quarantine. A South Korean website that publishes stories about North Korea based on a network of undercover sources said that the obese leader had had heart surgery. Soon, rumors circulated that he was in very grave danger. Another said he was in a vegetative state after botched open heart surgery. More stories said that China had to send doctors over the border to rescue the ailing Kim. Weeks went by without any public appearances by Kim, and the state media refused to answer or even acknowledge any questions about his health or his absence from public events. During the absence, the government continued to send letters with Kim's signature from his office. A defector from North Korea, who currently serves in South Korea's parliament, said there was a 99% chance that Kim was dead. An American news report said that the U.S. government was monitoring the situation closely and that Kim was in grave danger. Intelligence analysts around the world analyzed satellite photos of North Korea looking for clues. Toward the end of April, a train and several luxury boats were spotted at a resort area that Kim likes to visit, dampening the frenzy a bit. South Korea's government maintained that nothing was amiss in the relations between the two countries. On May 1st, North Korean state media released photos of Kim at the fertilizer factory 20 days after his most recent public appearance. They had no comment on the length of his public absence. The following day, they released a video of the same event showing Kim cutting a ribbon, walking, talking, clapping, and smoking. Media have pored over the materials released since then, analyzing Kim's use of a golf cart and a new brown spot on his arm. The world may never know the reason, if any, for Kim's recent absence, but the world found out quickly how little it knows about the potential succession in North Korea if Kim were to die. He has not identified a successor. He is rumored to have a son, but the boy would be too young to rule. Kim has murdered 2 male relatives, an uncle and a half-brother. He has a sister. She appeared with him at the fertilizer factory, and another uncle, who have both been rumored to be potential candidates. But the truth is, no succession plan has been made public, and there is a real possibility of chaos if he dies. Government analysts around the world are said to be planning for a struggle to control the country's dozens of nuclear weapons, mass immigration, famine, and revolution if, in fact, Mr. Kim does die in power. What a strange place. You hear about the absurdity of Kim Jong-un, the cult of personality, all that stuff, and it's tempting to laugh. But then I saw the video of him at the fertilizer factory, and I saw thousands of people waving banners and cheering for him, and you just know they're prisoners. It's sad. I've promised you a little more news about the new website, so here's probably the biggest change you'll see. Right now, each lesson is a single page on the website. On the new site, which will be out on June 1st, each lesson will be broken up into multiple pages. So there will be one page for the main lesson about the current event or trending topic. There will be another page for the expression, another page for the video, and 2 more pages for additional exercises and activities. The reason we are doing this is so that you can more easily explore the expressions and the video lessons from the past. You know, we have over 250 expressions in our archive, And we have over 70 video lessons too. But it's hard to find them. You can't easily browse the expressions or video lessons today because they're buried inside the main episode page. So 2 things. 1, we'll have pages that we call libraries. And the libraries will be easy ways to browse and explore only the expressions or only the video lessons. The other key benefit to this is if I'm writing an episode and I find myself using an expression that we talked about in the past, I can link directly to that expression's page in the transcript. I find that all the time. I'm using expressions that I've explained in the past, and now I'll be able to link to them so you can see an expression and jump right to the old lesson in which I explained it. So that's the biggest change to the website. We are splitting the audio up so that only the relevant audio is on each page. However, like I said last week, the experience of listening on Spotify or your podcast app will not change. The English expression we have for you today is pore over. To pore over something is to study it closely. And pore, in this case, is P-O-R-E. And we rarely use this word pore in any other way besides in this phrasal verb, pore over. The authoritarian leader of North Korea, a nuclear power, disappeared for almost 3 weeks. The government later released photos and a video of him. The international media pored over the materials to try to discover any hidden clues about Kim's health. The international media pored over the materials. They studied them closely. How well was Kim walking? Was he walking faster or slower than usual? He was riding in a golf cart. The last time he visited this fertilizer plant, he did not use a golf cart. Once before, when he was sick, a golf cart was present. Then again, he does sometimes use a golf cart when he's healthy. So was he using the golf cart more than normal? Wait, what's that on his arm? It looks like a small brown spot. There wasn't a brown spot on his arm in his last public appearance. Is he breathing normally or more heavily than usual? All the little details, the media examined it very closely for a long time. They pored over the new photos and the new videos. India is a cricket-mad country. They love the sport of cricket. And if you don't catch it live, you can see the scorecard after the match is over. If you look closely, you can tell a lot about what happened in the game by looking at the scorecard. You can pore over the scorecard and try to imagine how the game was really played. In baseball, the scorecard is called the box score, And baseball fans used to do the same thing in the days before the internet. The newspaper would have the box scores of all the previous day's games, and fans would pore over the box scores to figure out who did well the previous day. I was one of those fans as a kid, but now I just get my updates on my phone. When new coronavirus statistics are released, experts pore over the reports looking for clues about whether the virus is slowing down or getting worse. Come election time here, forecasters pore over the results of polls in the days and weeks before an election, trying to guess who will win. Last year, a researcher in England discovered a 17th century copy of Shakespeare's texts with handwriting in the margins. The handwriting belonged to another famous writer of the time, John Milton. Here was an example of one legendary writer commenting on another's works. The researchers pored over the writing in the margin, trying to figure out what the second best writer of the 17th century thought about the first best writer's works. They studied the handwriting very carefully. You might be able to do that, maybe not with an original Shakespeare manuscript. What might you pore over in your personal life? Maybe you have a recipe book that your mom or your grandmother used to use. Or in the attic, you might find letters your grandfather wrote to your grandmother before they were married. You might pore over them, looking for clues about how they lived. Some people are into genealogy. That is the study of your ancestors, who they were, where did they live, when and where were they born, where did they move during their lives, what jobs did they have. Some people like to build elaborate family trees. They pore over public records, newspaper clippings, letters, anything that would give them a clue about their ancestors. Today's quote of the week is from the former U.S. President Calvin Coolidge. He's one of my favorites in American history. His nickname was Silent Cal, the kind of person who could never win an election today. Here's the quote: "Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent." The quote goes on after that, but you get the point. Persistence is the willingness of a person to keep trying to get what you want. So here's the quote: "Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence," says Calvin Coolidge. That's all for today. Coming up tomorrow, we're going to talk about the complications of reopening a large economy after COVID-19. Governments have to figure out what comes first, when to reopen, how to make that decision. It's not easy, at least in the United States, and we are doing it unevenly. That is Thursday's topic. In the meantime, remember to get all the updates about the new Plain English website. Come visit us at plainenglish.com/new, and I'll give you the first glimpse at the super secret design, colors, logos, etc. plainenglish.com/new, N-E-W.